edition of Hires Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. Got a special guest on here, return guest. You should feel pretty special. I think this is episode 21, and you're on here now twice. We got Nick Wallace. What are you doing, buddy?
I'm excited to be here, excited to be on for the second time. We're doing video this time. We didn't have this before,
Yes.
So it's exciting.
It is exciting. I am excited to have 42 Lines Creative helping out once again. My goodness, they are freaking top notch. You know, we had a great collaboration the other day to what we're going to be doing in the future. So tune in out there. Got some big things. Hey, you like working out? You like getting in shape? You want to know about how to get your swole on, lift a lot more weight. Like I said before, I was a power lifter for years, so I'm going to share some of my tips in powerlifting. Even if you're not a power lifter, you're just trying to get, just gain some strength. You're trying to get in shape. I'm going to in turn, this is going to be such a discipline for me to say, hey, I've got to get in better shape and get bigger, stronger, faster, all that good stuff over this next long haul that I'm going to be doing this. So it really ties into business as being in shape, being strong, being fit. And that is what my coaching is being fit and shape, energy levels to really go about the day and crush business. So you guys are going to have to tune in. That's going to be weekly. I'm going to go ahead and, we're going to do that right every week. We're going to,
wow.
I'm going to, with 42 Lines Creative, they are going to help me put out that content every week. So you're going to tune in and blow up your business, blow up your pecs, and just get your swole on and have some fun. So I'm excited.
That's exciting. Yeah, I'll be tuning into that.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So tune in. We got some good things going on tap today. So today we're gonna be talking about teams. We're gonna be talking about how to grow your team, how to really just help them be the best version of themselves, not just us crushing business, but how are they going to crush life and be the just best versions of themselves. So we don't want to just be great for ourselves. We want to be great for our teams. We want to put the right people in place. So we're going to talk about that. We had an awesome discussion right over here with Brandon Grant as well. About 2 weeks ago, smoking a cigar. Got some cigars over here from Jake's Cigar Bar, Nicholasville, Kentucky. Check them out. Jake's Cigar Bar.
Looking forward to the reopening. Yeah,
Man, I can't wait.
that'd be very cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So we're gonna have a lot of stuff on tap. No sports. We always talk with sports off the bat, but there's not much sports going on right now, obviously. But there is the Jordan documentary. And
man. I in our conversation though about teams, I'm sure there will be a lot of sports references that come up because of how relevant they are and how many similarities to the conversation that we're about to have.
Yeah, good documentary. What I love about Jordan the most is just his competitive. He was just the most competitive person
on a mission,
and he wanted and talk about team. You may not agree with his tactics, but he absolutely made his teammates the best they could be because he was driving him, and he was the key point is he was willing to do everything he wanted his teammates to do and more. And so that's a key factor in building a team, right? Is doing that. And he absolutely embodied that as far as what he was willing to do. He wasn't willing to have his teammates do anything he wasn't willing to do. So that was great. I love the documentary. I was a big Piston fan growing up, so I hated Jordan, and it was like he's not any good. And then all of a sudden I was like, he's the best. So I had to give it up after a while. So it's kind of like when your haters become your biggest fan.
Sure.
That was me. I was the biggest hater, and then went to he's great now. I got his shoes on. So what about that?
Yeah.
Yep. So, but anyway, so I want to talk about what we're going to get into, which is team building. How do we just give back to our team, and how does that elevate us? So I'd like to talk about what, kind of get your opinion and what you've been going through and kind of some learning curves you had with your team.
Sure. First, I just want to say I appreciate you having me out here. The basement renovation looks awesome, and so the home here is an incredible place for this, and I appreciate you having me on the podcast. But to answer your question, something that I've realized so quickly in my career is that without a team, there's absolutely no way that you can reach your purpose the way that you're going for it. And then we've talked about purpose in the past, I believe, in our last conversation about having an outward facing purpose is the only way to fulfill that need that we all have to have a purpose. But anyway, I've found so quickly that I have strengths that have put me in the place that I can help people through my business, but also I have some weaknesses, some things that I can't actually do. Mainly for me, a lot of that stuff is administrative. A lot of that stuff is behind the scenes work where with making sure that paperwork is all filed correctly and those sorts of things. And I've realized so quickly that without a team, there's no way that I could be put in a position to serve people on the level that I've been able to thus far in my career. And along with the team comes the different dynamics of having people who all are seeking their own purpose in life and looking for their own, goal to be shooting for. Goal to be shooting for. And so I think in our conversation around the campfire the other day, you poured some wisdom, as well as Brandon, into how to build our teams up to where everybody has their own mission and their own purpose. And the most important thing, first off, in the business is to make sure that we are treating our team just as that, just as everybody's on an equal level playing field, and that you're building people up so that they can be empowered themselves to grow in the same way that you're trying to grow, in the same way that you're trying to help your clients grow and everybody that you interact with.
Yeah, it's exactly, and we talked about that. The biggest shift I had, so I was, I had some difficulty along the way, for sure, just like everybody does, of scaling business. And even I go back to some of my leadership days in different roles before the mortgage industry, before hires coaching, and at some points and times I wasn't giving back to my team like I should have been. In some ways you start saying they're in their role and hey, they just need to do their job, but I wasn't giving them everything they needed to, and I wasn't pouring into them the way I should have been. My biggest aha moment was when I just shifted my mind and I said, hey, listen, if you take nothing else from this conversation, take this, is that your team has to be treated like they're your biggest clients. Like they are making you more money than anybody else, and that you have as a client. And it's so true, and it could be so true if you have the right people on the right bus, right? The right seat on the right bus, and you're pouring into them, they absolutely can make you more money than what any other client individually can make. And if we treat them as such and we pour into them, that just elevates our game and our level of success so much. And the way we do that is we need to pour back into them so we know that we care about them, and we want them to have a level of success. And so I was sharing my team the other day because I was like, I need to always embody the coaching mentality to my team as well. It's like, how do I coach them up to be the best version of themselves? And so we had this conversation. One thing is that the highest performers out of an hour, they take 8 minutes to rejuvenate themselves, to have the energy levels to do something that's going to really help them drive forward throughout the day. And I was like, well, I can't keep this information to myself. Like, I have to not just use this myself. And it, by the way, it beautifully works. So I was going to a call. I had an 8 o'clock mastermind and a 9 o'clock mastermind. My 8 o'clock ended at 8:45. I had some tension going on. You felt that. I felt tension.
Sure.
And I was like, man, I got this tension, and can I give to this next group? So I was like, take your own advice, right? Do it. You know what to do. So I said, hey, put everything down. I went over here, jumped rope for a few minutes, got my blood circulation going, feeling some good endorphins. Then I went outside, even though it's gloomy. I went outside, shut my eyes, breathe deeply. And so I took 8 minutes and said, okay, I'm going to reset. And when I went in my call at 9 o'clock, I was absolutely, tension was gone, and I had a freaking dynamic mastermind. It was very impactful. And at the end, I was talking about that to my mastermind. I said, listen, did you even know that I was stressed out beforehand? They're like, no. I said, well, that's the reason why, because I did that. So I had to share that with my team as well
Oh,
the other
wow.
day, is going, hey, reset, regroup, because I don't want you to go through 8 hours and just it suck. And so as I was talking to another client, they're like, hey, for the next 10 years, I'm just gonna grow my business, and I'm gonna work 80 hours a week for the next 10 years, and then I can live. And it's like 10 years is a fucking long time. That's a long time. You can't gloss over that. But we also don't need to gloss over 8 hours and say, like, can we have enjoyment within that day?
Sure.
Can we like really be rejuvenated in 8 hours and have fun? And like, we know there's going to be tension. There's going to be things that's going to come up, especially in the mortgage industry, for example, where I'm running tons of deals and running 30 loans a month. It's, it's stressful. But like I was sharing with them, hey, listen, I don't want you to have 8 hours of like tension. Like, so I shared that with them, and I was like, I was trying to motivate them to be the best version and enjoy their 8 hours. And so it was really impactful. And when I kind of keep looking at my biggest clients, it just, the shift just is crazy with their team dynamic. And it's like, it's such a blessing to be able to give back to them, not just say, hey, you're here to make me elevate. I'm here to elevate you.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think, like, I was just thinking about whenever you were talking about what you did to reset your mind. I guess the goal that we all have, and we could all be in a better place if we could be removed from the stresses and the tensions, constantly, always removed. But just as humans, we get so sucked into those things that stress us out and things like that. So you said not gloss over, 8 hours at a time. I think what you're saying even further is just don't even gloss over 1 hour or even a moment. Don't let a moment go by where you're stressed out and not able to remove yourself from circumstances, because,
Right.
I think that we can all just realize how blessed we are if we do the things like get our blood flow and
Right.
step outside and breathe and just
Yep.
hit that reset button. Wow. But yeah, another point that you had made to me, which I thought was just so impactful the other night, was like the same things that we're talking about, treating your team as number one. That itself will prop them up to be even better of a level of service for the folks that you serve in your business, and
Absolutely.
just again an overall mindset of gratitude for the work that they do and things like that, and they'll be grateful and help pour into just everybody.
Yeah.
I guess that's an abundance mentality.
Yeah.
There's plenty for everyone, and
Yeah.
and gifting is another big thing. That's something we've talked about in the past, is making sure that people, clients as well as team members, just personal relationships and friends know that they're appreciated. A great way is gifting personal gifts, not branded gifts
Right.
with your logo and stuff like that on it.
Don't spam them with your gifts. Like, people out there, don't smack them in the face with your gifts. Like, or it's like, Nick Wallace, you plaster, and it's like, I want to,
Sure.
like, dude, I like Nick Wallace, but I don't know if I want to wear Nick Wallace across my chest all day.
Sure, exactly.
Right.
No, that's a great point. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Hopefully, but I got this shirt that I think people wear. Limited risks equals limited income. So, yeah.
sure. Yeah, if you're offering a gift, I'll take one.
Yeah, I'll
No.
give you. Yeah, I got one for
Okay.
you. I got one for you.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's you hit on some really really good points. Is that giving back an abundance mentality, because just like I was talking to my coach, he's like, listen, give everything, give all the information. Don't have that thing part of your brain going, hey, listen, I need to hold some back because I want people to take me on as a coach. You give everything, right? And it's like Gary Vee gives everything, and they still come to him, because you can give somebody a roadmap, but you still have stumbles along the way, and you still need somebody. If they're highly valuable, they're still going to use you. Abundance mentality. And for me, it's like 42 Lines Creative. Like I said, they're awesome. They're like up and coming, great. And for me, I don't look at them as they work for me, right? And they're just trying. Listen, they got to do a good job for me. I literally think, what can I do for them? Like, how can I give back to them? How can I create power? How can I help them create wealth for themselves? How can I give back to them in such a way that they're my biggest fans, and we're just growing together? that's what you want, because I want them to be all in on me. I want to be all in on them. And I am all in on them because I want to see them grow, because it is such a great thing to see awesome people doing a great job, and let's grow together. And let's be like invested both in each other. And it's not like, hey, y'all come film my stuff and y'all scrubs just go get stuff done, which is a lot of what people do. It's like, you're providing a service, you know, just do my stuff. Like, no, man, like, how much can I give to them? How much can I give? And that's what people don't understand. When you give back to people like that, like, think about, I would think that 42 Lines is probably going to do even a better job on my stuff than other people are. And I don't do it just for that reason, but if you're thinking about it like that, it's like, how much can I give back? And I need to make them my biggest fans, and I need to be a big fan of theirs. When we grow together, it just blossoms the relationships, and it's like, what more can come out of that? Instead of saying, hey, listen, they're just a means to the end, because I want to care about them. I want to care about what they can do in life. And I think it's just a beautiful thing when you kind of turn that, and that's not always been that way for me. So I want to be clear, like, it's not something I've had to reset and say, hey, listen, like, am I giving value to every single person that I come in contact with? If I'm not, like, what can I do to give value? And that's with our teams. And if we literally reset our minds to everybody that we come in contact with, whether it's you're going to the grocery store and so you see somebody and you're smiling, and that's what go be someone's hero today. My tagline all the time is, go be someone's hero today. That's not saving somebody from a burning building, although that would be awesome, right? I haven't done that. That's definitely being somebody's hero, but, like, go be someone's hero. Just say something nice to them. Just give back to them. When you see something that you can do for them, just do it. Have an uplifting spirit, especially in a coronavirus time. Like, have an uplifting spirit and elevate them. Like, it's just a beautiful thing. Yeah. So that's why I get passionate about that, because it's just a beautiful thing to really be able to give back to people, and it just comes back in such abundance. And I know that you, and so the audience doesn't know, like, Nick doesn't talk about this a lot, or he doesn't brag. He doesn't brag, because that's not what it's about, and that's why I'm going to, talk about it. Because if he was bragging about it, I wouldn't talk about it. I probably wouldn't have it on a show. But it does so much for the community, and I want you to share some of the stuff you're doing right now. That's giving back at this moment.
Well, you kind of put me on the spot
I
here.
did,
I
because
appreciate it. Yeah.
I mean, listen, you're a humble guy, but, like, I think it's very valuable to tell the audience out there, like, what you're doing, because they can be inspired by someone that's not doing it for the wrong reasons, just trying to give back. And you have such a beautiful story if anybody listened the first time, and I think you have a big driving force, but you're doing so much that's, that other people wouldn't do. And you have that abundance mindset, and you have that mindset to really give back to its highest level. And I just want to talk about that.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I think the conversation that we're having about team building and things like that, it all has me thinking about my dream of just having a organization that helps people that may be underserved, that is just so big and with so many resources and availability to help thousands of families who don't have the information or resources to make the decisions that they need to for their overall longevity and security. But the things that I'm doing right now that I'm working on, there's a few different charitable fantasy football leagues a fantasy football league that we do that's charitable. There's the March Madness bracket. We do a charity for that every year, but we were unable to do that this year. The main thing that I'm focused on right now is with my business is directly working with families in the special needs community. Similar to my family, my brother has special needs, and so that's a majority of my business efforts is helping those families who, like my family before I started in the career that I have, don't have access to information and resources that are very valuable to them and necessary to know. And so, yeah.
I love it. It's you just a genuine spirit, and I don't know if the camera can tell, but I can tell, like, it radiates in his eyes when he talks about this stuff, how passionate you are about what you're doing, and it's very genuine. And so there's so many people that try to do stuff for the wrong reasons, and just, hey, listen, I'm giving back, but it's really, it's just to put themselves in the public eye. But I could tell you all out there, Nick does it for the right reasons, because he has a why behind it, and he really has a passion to help people. And you know, you're just gonna reap those blessings as well. And anybody that comes in contact you with is going to understand the genuine nature that you have. And I think it's a beautiful thing. So I definitely did not want to go without saying that. And I think that going back to the team is that, your team or anybody that's, when you're doing that kind of stuff, right? When you have that genuine nature, like your X's and O's. I talk about X's and O's, like sports analogy, just X's and O's out there. Like, you can do this and you do this and do this. Like, very little has to do with X's and O's. It has to do with, like, when a leader is passionate and a leader is genuine and a leader is authentic, like you are, you may mess up the X's and O's, and you're going to. But if you have that in place, people will follow you. People will go to bat for you. You will rise up, and you will make them be a better person. And so my goal always is, if somebody leaves me or not, like my team goes somewhere else, like they're way better off when they, left me than before me. And that is a great thing. And I know that anybody that's going to be around you, they're going to have people leave, but they're going to be better off for knowing you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So that can really elevate your team by knowing your story, your authentic nature, and your genuine, just genuine giving that you do. So that's awesome. I think that really plays into the team building. I know that you cannot devaluate that. That's a value proposition that people can't have unless they internally work on themselves to be that person. It can't be faked, and people see that fake. So that when you were talking about leadership first, they, people follow the heart. People follow where somebody's heart is, not necessarily all their leadership skills. And so we can gain that along the way, because if we have the heart first and we have the servant leadership first, then everything we'll figure out how to get the X's and O's in place. That's the beautiful thing. So if you just set up the heart correctly, the rest will follow, because you're going to put in the work, right? If the heart's genuinely there, you're going to put in the work. Because what I liked the other day, and for listeners that weren't there, and it was so good. And I think this was going really well, but that was just so dynamic at the fire pit. We're going to have one out there again and do one. But it was just what I really appreciated about the whole conversation is leading with the heart. You asked the question. You didn't just like, hey, listen, I'm gonna sit here and we're gonna just smoke cigars. You had something in your mind that you wanted to become a better person, a better leader, and you are authentic and vulnerable. And vulnerability is a huge superpower, and you have it. You were vulnerable enough to ask that question, like, hey, listen, I'm struggling a little bit here, or I can do better here. Like, what is you all's like opinion? Because when you're authentic like that, and you're open and vulnerable, you have people can take advantage of it and say, well, Nick, what the heck, right? We can think negatively of you, which you knew that we were not.
Sure.
But it was a beautiful thing, because you brought it up, because you have the heart to lead. And I want you to know, like, that was a monumental moment for you to actually be vulnerable enough to ask those questions. And I feel like at this point, you got so much clarity out of that because you were vulnerable.
Yeah, I went directly from there to get a gift for one of my teammates.
That's awesome.
It was a great conversation and a great connection moment from there. But I think what I'm realizing as we're having this conversation right now, I'm learning as we're talking. I always do.
Always.
Is everything that you're aspiring to do in your mortgage and the coaching is you've got a dream of building people's lives up, helping them purchase homes. Those things, all of that needs a foundation, and such a big part of that foundation is the relationships that you're talking about with 42 Lines Creative, with your team, with your clients and referral partners, and so just our root conversation for the podcast today was team building. Well, team building doesn't or goes beyond just the team that you work with, but team building is just essentially team in life, trying to get everybody on the same team, trying to get everybody on that team. And I hate to go so well, I don't want to say that, but I'm going 10,000 foot view here of everybody on that team of go to the grocery store and smile at people, everybody on that team of my life is so outward focused that if all I do is focus on taking care of other people, making sure that they feel good, making sure they feel loved, regardless of if they're a random stranger or my closest family member, then I myself will be fulfilled in that, and people will return that love and generosity back to me. And wow, what a thought. I guess that's in The Go Giver, the book that you and I love so much. That's that's the premise.
Yeah.
The premise is everything you do should be outward faced and promise all the difficulties that you face will be taken care of. Gosh, we could go directly to the good book itself and get that right in the Bible.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It was like I was talking to the one of my groups this morning, and everything's delayed effect. Like everything's the delayed effect. And if you read the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, it's one of those things too. It's a compounding effect over time, and you know about that being in finance, a compounding effect. And what people don't understand, it's just like when you're putting into that 401k, you're putting into that IRA, whatever you're doing, it's got that compounding effect, and you don't see the immediate dividends. So people like, hey, I was nice today, and I didn't get anything off it. Or hey, I did this for a couple months, or I was nice to this person and they backstabbed me. Like, cool, great, like that happens, and it's all a compounding effect. So when you're nice and you're good and you're a go-giver and you're going biblical into you just giving back to people, it's such a compounding effect. One, it has a compounding effect on how you feel as a person, how you interact with yourself. That's a huge thing, how you interact with yourself. Because if you have a bad conversation, I know I've had a bad conversation and I can't sleep at night because I feel bad. I feel internally bad about how I had that, had that conversation. And it's not about money, because I made bank that day. And I will have a bad conversation, and that's the only thing that was overriding fact, because I had a bad conversation. But I made very little money and had a awesome conversations with people that day, and it's been a compounding effect how I inwardly thought about myself, and then it just compounds over time of how people think about you, and then how you end up just having this power curve of wealth within yourself to give back to people. And it's such a compounding effect over time. Wow. It's same thing as like you going on a diet and you can't see the results, and all of a sudden, like, you've lost no more weight in the last 2 weeks, and somebody's like, oh my gosh, like, and they saw you yesterday, and all of a sudden, boom, just like that, you're like, what the heck happened, right? And it's the same way in anything we're doing. So it's such a compounding effect to be a go-giver and do that, because we inwardly start seeing it first. And it's like the law of the iceberg. Like, the iceberg is only the tip of what's coming out. It's all what's going underneath. So that's the huge part of it. It's like what outwardly things are happening. It's what inwardly and how much better we are and how we communicate with people, and that compounding effect. And it's like, boom, it just hits, and it hits with our team. So it's not what we say that one day, and it's not what that one time that we tell and give that one gift. It's a compounding effect that we just keep on doing those things and giving back, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, like, Nick Wallace is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, I would freaking go like the ends of earth with Nick Wallace, because he absolutely cares, and he is that type of person that I want to be with, from now on, an association of somehow. It's such a compounding effect. So it's a beautiful thing when people get it, and that goes right into, again, the team. And we're talking about team building. this, hopefully people are getting out of this. Like, you work on yourself first and just really give back to your team. And you talked about it. How much more they'll give to your clients? Like, they treat your clients the way you're treating them. If you treat them like crap, eventually they're going to treat your clients like crap. If you treat them like gold and that's their standard, they're going to treat your clients like gold. Like, they just will. It may take a minute, right? Like, it's funny. So I was, one of my guys. I text him something, and I said thank you, and he said my pleasure back! Exclamation mark. He's never used my pleasure this whole time. Why did you all of a sudden start using my pleasure?
You said it to him first?
I always say it. Always. My pleasure. I don't say you're welcome, because you're welcome sucks, guys. Okay? My pleasure is way better, because my pleasure is just a better compounding feeling, right? That my pleasure. So what happens? So you don't, if you don't want to use my pleasure, that's fine. But what the point is that he, after time, okay, my pleasure is what I use. And it rubs off on your team of how you're talking to them. And then they're going to talk to their clients that way. And I didn't have to tell them. I bet you right now, he's now saying my pleasure to our clients without me saying it. And that's how that compounding effect happens through time. We can't be like when they text us and we're not nice to them and expect them to change their behaviors just because we say it, right?
Wow. Yeah. Every time we have these conversations, it makes me just want to run through a wall to help somebody like put their grocery cart up, or just to make somebody feel good about themselves. But I thought something that you said was so impactful. How part of your team is yourself too. Like,
yeah.
So how are you treating yourself? How are these
Yes.
interactions with yourself going? Wow, what a powerful statement, because there's nobody there to check these interactions that you have with yourself.
Right.
Self-defeating thoughts, self-defeating actions. Nobody's there to govern that, and it's only you. So if you're not governing that, I bet everybody, I know everybody in the world, if they were to take a step back, they could at least see a couple improvements that they could make into how kind they were being to themselves.
Yes.
How forgiving they were being to themselves.
Yes.
And just being in a place of grace, and being in a place of treating yourself with all of the same things that we've talked about today.
Right.
And there's self-gifting. Gifting yourself
Right.
is a thing. Now, not to be confused with, overbuying
Right.
or that sort of thing, but yeah, I think that's really impactful. That something that I could learn from this conversation myself is to make sure that I'm treating myself with the same kindness and team building spirit,
Yeah.
as I do other folks in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get tactical for 1 minute, because we've been like we have had a beautiful conversation, because what we've done, we have set up that runway for the tactical things that we do. We cannot do the tactical until we have the heart, right? And so we're getting into tactical. And so I'd like to ask you, like, when did you know, or how do you know, or you're talking to somebody when they need to add someone, and if they have fears of adding someone, how do they get by that? What's maybe a tip, some tactical things that you can think of when it comes to that?
I've got a lot of mentors who have helped me think through this, but it's been said to me before, if you know that you need somebody, it's too late. You've waited too long. If you know that you need somebody, it's too long. Some things that, and just a mentality that I have in life is, what's the hourly rate that you're being charged, that you create when you're serving people on the highest level, doing your function as a business, and this is across all industries. What's that hourly rate? And then if you freed up some of your time, could you help more people and remain in business? Essentially, that's what we're looking at here. Similar, let's do Kroger Click List, for example. If it's going to take you an hour and a half to shop groceries, but you could save that by spending 10 minutes clicking around, then that'll free up an hour for the time that you could do other things. And so now you've freed up some of your life just with spending a nominal amount of money. And so that's the way that I look at that is at what point in time does it make sense from a time perspective to add a team member or to increase the business, something I'm still learning about
Right.
currently, and I hope to learn more and more about. But that's the way that I've looked at that.
Yeah, yeah. I think you hit on some amazing points for sure. When you know when you know you need someone, it's too late. That's absolutely true. Which is funny. I actually talked about this morning on my mastermind, and it was talking to a photographer. And so right now, these photographers are going to get, just bombarded, or they're starting to get bombarded with all
busy.
these, and just hairdressers. So we talk about hairdressers, and they're going to get bombarded because now we're coming out of coronavirus. They're opening back up, so everybody's going to come to this. How have you placed the right, you know, I guess more people, right? Have you hired? Are you thinking about hiring? Have you already set up more hires? Have you set up better systems to make sure that when you come out of this, when all this business is going to go crazy, that you're prepared for it? And so I don't think that people are doing that enough. And so what's going to happen is people are going to turn people away. And it's like this. Like, think about the opportunity right now.
Yeah.
Because when hairdressers, let's take hairdressers right now, 25th here in Kentucky, it is going to open back up. Think about who's going to have to almost turn people away, or it'd be such a long, waiting. Like, what could they have done right now? Go, hey, listen, we're going to prepare for this. It's not going to be a scarcity mindset and say, well, we're not making money now. It's like, where can you go, hey, listen, I'm not going to miss one opportunity. This is a time to where people are going to be turning people away, and I'm going to serve them at a higher level than they were served before coronavirus. All this went down, and then I'm going to gobble up market share. So that is a huge point to say, okay, like, because what's going to happen, I guarantee you, is people are going to lose so much money on this when it comes out, and they're like turning people away, and it's like, I'm just too busy. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Like, you should have prepared for this before. So if you're out there right now and your business is like that, if your business right now is going to just explode after everything opens back up, you have got to prepare yesterday for this. You got to hire somebody now, multiple people, whatever you have to do to make sure you capture every bit of that business, because what's going to happen is you're going to take that market share now, and you're going to do such an awesome job that you're going to keep that market share from now on. And that's like, what are you going to do to capture it right now? The other thing that you said really good was, I talk about all the time, dollars per hour. Like, what do you make in green time dollars per hour? It's really easy to understand when you go this is an X's and O's, tactical, and you say, hey, listen, I know that I do this many hours. So here's how you do it, guys. You look at how many hours that you're in green time sales activity or whatever it's producing you the highest level activities, and you take how much money you make per year, and you average that out how many hours you make or you do per day, and then whatever it is, say it's $500 an hour. If you can hire somebody for $20 an hour, and they can free up one more hour a day, you've made $340 a day. $340 a day. That is tactical. That's real. That's how you have to treat it. If you can hire somebody, it's scarcity mindset to think the opposite, because people want to hoard their money. Well, I don't want to make any less money. I'm going to have to dip into some of my dollars per guest or closing or whatever. And that's absolutely the opposite of what happens. You scale your business and you take market share when you do that. So build your business up to where and then you hire before you absolutely need one, because then you're behind. So that's absolutely beautiful what you did. So out there, think about your green time, think about how much money you don't make per hour, and then get somebody in there, and then freaking lead them with heart and give back to them, and they're going to treat your client with the utmost respect, and you're going to just start crushing business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Aren't you currently hiring somebody right now?
Yeah, I'm looking for somebody as well. Yes, so we're looking for another dynamic person out there. Got some, just not sure which role yet. It's like, I think there's some different things we can do. And so just looking for the right person. And I always look for the person over the resume. I always look for the heart over the resume. I always look for the coachability over the resume. I always look for the team-oriented type of person over resume. Resume is only a small fraction of it, right?
Well, that's how Adam hires.
Right?
It's a joke. That's how Adam hires.
Right. I don't know.
A dad joke there. Had to
A
throw
dad
in.
joke. A dad joke. You ain't even dad yet, man.
Yeah, well, dogs.
Dogs. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So we got some good cigars over here, man. I tell you what, I'm ready to smoke one tonight for sure. It's not nice today. It's going to be nice the next few days. So again, I can't wait to get out of the Jake's Cigar Bar at
Looking
some
forward
point
to
here
beautiful weather,
and
yeah.
start smoking a good cigar out there. Got some good Buffalo Trace bourbon barrel here. It's pretty cool.
Great decoration. Yeah, the place looks great.
Thank you, appreciate it. No, it was good having you on. I'm just looking forward to some more series we have. Definitely tune in. We're gonna have some, like I said, this is gonna continue all these videos, and we're gonna have some different things. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like there's so much more that we can
Potential's
do and
incredible,
put that content, put some content out there. I want to help people to the highest level, and I want to put as much free content out there as I can to help whomever grow. And tune into, like I said, my workouts. I was in impeccable shape before as a power lifter and strong as all get out. I'm still pretty decently strong. I can still deadlift over 700 pounds and squat over 700 pounds. I'm pretty decent there, but I don't know. Maybe this journey will bring me back over 800 pound deadlift what I did before. And so I look forward to getting in better shape, and hopefully my punches will be almost as crisp as Mike Tyson's are at 53. My gosh, man, he looks
good.
Incredible right now. So we're going to go through some of that, and this is going to hold me accountable even to get in better shape, decent shape now. Still pretty strong, but man, I'm gonna kick it up a notch in front of the camera, and I'm going to teach y'all some things. And I'm looking forward to the feedback and see how I can grow from the feedback as well. So I'm excited, and this is going to be good. Again, 42 Lines Creative. My gosh, you got to link up with them. They just come out here. They come out of my house, set it up. It's freaking phenomenal. So, dude, this has been awesome.
It's been great. I appreciate you having me on. Every time we have these conversations, like I said, I just feel so energized, and I know the folks who have stuck with us to this point listening, they feel so energized, and I know that you've got some incredible guests lined up for the future episodes, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what some of these people with just such a wealth of knowledge have to say. I'll be sure to tune in, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to my website. You can go to hirescoaching.com. You can download a free 12-week planner to transform your business. I also right now in the works of creating an awesome planner that's going to really crystallize your day and set you off the day right, strong, and you can just grow, because it's all how you come out of the gates in the morning and how you clarify what is important that day to just really win that day, win the relationships, win business, and just crush it in life. So, man, that's all I got. I appreciate you coming on, Nick, and that's all I got. Hires talks, baby. Remember, limited risks equals limited income.